good. All right, guys. Welcome to Grind to Grow. Today I have the amazing opportunity to catch up with Ashley that I met in the NAKJO, North America Kettlebell Juggling Open in Arizona. An amazing event, a memorable event. We got to talk, we got to train, and we got to see perform, which was it was a blast.
Yeah, it definitely was. It definitely was. Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley. I am very new to the juggling community. Before I started juggling, I am a licensed mental health counselor and a personal trainer. Through those, I found my way to kettlebells and there into kettlebell juggling, and now getting to meet awesome people like I did at the World Games, at NAKJO, and hopefully going forward. So definitely excited to be here and kind of catch up with you. It's been a while.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it seems like it's been a while, but it was just like a few months ago.
Yeah.
Because we're still sharing each other's videos and everything. So it seemed like it was like last weekend.
Yeah, it literally feels like it just happened. I talk about it and I'm like, yeah, like I was just there, and everyone's like, didn't that happen like a few months ago? And I'm like, yeah, at this point, it feels like it happened yesterday. I miss my friends and the friends that I made. So I'm like, that time's definitely flying by. And I'm like, World Games is kind of the next event coming up where I can kind of see everybody again. So super looking forward to like that as well.
Yeah, 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 I know. So you went to Brooklyn, right? How did that go?
So Brooklyn, that was amazing. So that was my very first competition after learning about kettlebell juggling in about, I believe it was March. I had gone to an event called Belfast, and Steph and Bill were teaching like juggling 101, beginners juggling. And I had seen it during COVID. I had seen Colin and I had seen Steph like on Instagram. I'm like, yo, this is so freaking cool. Like, this is like pretty badass. But I never had been exposed to anything like that before. And when I went to Belfast, Steph and Bill were teaching, and that's when I like first attempted any type of let equipment out of your hand and catch it again kind of thing. And after kind of being exposed to that, Steph was kind of putting out there like, hey, if you would ever be interested in trying something like this, give it a shot. And after, thinking about it, seeing it, I just played around with juggling because I wanted to do it, because I'm like, hey, all these cool people were like juggling. I want to try doing some cool stuff too, so that when I'm around them, I can learn something new. And one thing led to another, and starting probably like June, I had started playing around with juggling in like May of last year. And around like the end of like June, July, I started getting coached by Steph to prepare myself for Brooklyn. And that was my very first competition, only after a few months juggling. And it was mind blowing. Like, people from different places of the world, Brooklyn being like down the street from me, being in Rhode Island, only 3 hours away. And I'm like, I've never met these people before. I never even knew something like this was around. So that was just amazing. And then competing in it, so different, like crazy. So growing up as an athlete, like I'm used to, hey, I'm coming for you. Like, you're not going to beat me. Like, I'm not cheering for you. It's like you versus me. And it was so different in Brooklyn. I remember I was the very first performer. Thanks to Justin. Thanks to Justin, my very first competition, I was the very first performer. Thanks to Justin and Nina, I was like having a heart attack, but I went up there and I just remembered like that very first time. I like got distracted and I did such a simple move. I did a Healy and I like looked away and it dropped. And it was at the very beginning of my move. I'm like, this is so simple. Like, I was not, if I was to drop it, I was expecting it in like a harder move. And I dropped it and I'm literally expecting like, okay, just like suck it up. It's going to be silent in here. And all you hear is, whoa, you got it. You can do it. It's okay. Shake it off. And I'm like, y'all don't know me. Like, what is this?
This is not normal, guys.
Yeah, at all. I'm like, aren't you like competing against me?
I'm
But
coming for you. What are you doing?
100%, 100%. And honestly, like that helped me kind of just like, and I went out and my very first competition in the World Games, I competed in amateur juggling. I got third place, and it was something that I wasn't expecting, obviously, because I'm like, I'm just gonna go try something, and that has been like such a changing experience for me ever since.
Yeah. So that what happened to you, that can happen to me at NAKJO. Like I was the last one on amateur, and I didn't want to run through my routine too much because I'm like, I'm gonna get in my head, get something, and I was like, all right, you know what? We're just gonna go out there, have a good time. Everybody seems to be having a good time, so let's just go have fun, right? Do your best. So, and it was like the third element, which like it was a mug going into a ladder, and I dropped, and I'm like, really? That one?
Yeah.
And everything else kind of went pretty okay. I was surprised.
Yeah.
Same thing that you did. I was like, you know what? Okay, check it off. Just go.
Yep.
Get to it. But no, yeah, that was such an experience to be there, and like, because I see you guys perform. We've been following each other for a little some more than others, and then seeing you guys in person, I'm like, oh, that's you.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And then you see people move.
Yep.
Like, okay, that is real. It's not AI or whatever. Like, it's just it hits you different to see you guys in person. And I'm sure you've experienced that in Brooklyn, and now NAKJO. Such an experience.
Yeah, definitely. NAKJO was after World Games, and like some of those people being able to also compete in NAKJO like helped that kind of nerves that I had, and seeing like new people come and compete at NAKJO and being able to kind of like give them the words of wisdom that were given to me. It's just like, hey, go do your best, relax. If it drops, it drops. Literally the best have dropped the bell before. And I saw some of the best drop the bell before. And I'm like, okay, we're human. Like, it's okay, So NAKJO was just, it was different. And that was a competition that unfortunately I couldn't prepare for that as much as I wanted to either, because right before the competition I had injured my shoulder, so a lot of the basic moves were like super hard. But then going into it, still having people who are supposed to be my competitors like, hey, you got this, you're okay, how are you doing, how rehab been? I'm like, this is so weird. I'm like, aren't you guys supposed to be like, hell yeah, she's hurt, I got this in the bag? So honestly, like, it's such an amazing experience. And it's like that's only been the second like juggling event that I've been to, and each time I go, granted it's only 2 for 2 right now, but each time I've gone, I've met amazing people. I've learned things that I've never learned before. I get tips from people who I finally get to like see in person and participate in, like, being able to do flows together, and just even at NAKJO this time was like take classes together and like get to know each other. Like, it was honestly an experience, like literally to remember. Like, this community since I've started juggling, like hands down is like top tier, like untouched.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the shoulder injury. You seem fun to me because you were like behind the arm and catching it and like doing all these repeats. And I remember the video that you posted where you got like, maybe there was like 3 or 4 back to back. I was like, okay, that's cool. And I'm like, I can't do it because I was in the same position. I was dealing with something. And my fiance was like, are you okay? Every time we got done with the workshop or it was like, how you doing? I'm like, I feel fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I've told this to everybody. I don't know if it's the Arizona air or the excitement of being there, or just the fact that you're among people that you've been excited to meet and want to train, or just everything. Probably a combination of everything. And I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
No pain whatsoever. And there was a level of fear of me touching the kettlebell so much. And literally from Thursday, from the beginning, that first workout, that whole ladder that we did, which was
That was
killer.
insane.
I was like, it's a bit too much. I don't think my body's gonna take it. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Every single day, I was like, all right, let's just keep this going. Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
Because I'm having so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, like I'm learning, and competition, same thing. This is the same feel of like I'm competing against you, but you're still cheering for me. Like we all like got done and hug, high five, lift them up. Like everybody was just super excited.
Yeah.
And that's something that, like you said, we don't see it in other sports, especially one-on-one events. It's like me against you, and right now we're not friends.
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
Yeah. It's like it gives a different definition to like sportsmanship, because like playing the sports that I played growing up, like I did track, I've done volleyball, I've done basketball, and it's like playing those sports in like high school and in college, like sportsmanship is like, oh, you fall to the ground, I don't step over you, and like AI and like Allen Iverson step over you. It's like that's sportsmanship. Sportsmanship isn't like this. Like this is so different. It's like, hey, you messed up, it's cool. Is it okay if I give you some tips? Awesome. Next time, what if you tried this? Or hey, you want to go outside and try something? I think I know something that could help you out and do that. And honestly, like even for my performance, I started getting like extremely nervous the day before. And Beto, I was like, hey, can I just show you my can I show you my program and like give me your feedback? And I did, and the feedback he gave me was essential to me in that moment of performing as well, because it was like the peak of my performance where I always get nervous. Like, okay, this is one of the harder moves for me that are newer to me. And it was like being able to talk to someone to give me a different perspective of like, hey, no, like you're doing good. Maybe just add an inch more or two when you throw it up into the air, and you'll feel a lot more comfortable on that catch. And I'm like, oh, wow. Thank you. Granted, like we're not directly competing because he's in the men's and I'm in the women's, but it's just even awesome for someone to even be willing to do that.
Oh yeah, and I saw that so much with like those little tips, like to improve that performance or to land that catch, or just just like that one, more air, which I learned that from Carlos from Spain.
Yeah,
got to visit him because I was always like right here throwing stuff here, and he's like, dude, that's not gonna work if you go triples or past that.
Yeah,
that's what you keep punching the kettlebell every single time. So it was, yeah, everybody's willing and want also to give you that feedback and to share the knowledge and to see you level up, because we all did that weekend. And that's something that I was just talking to Jared yesterday, and I told him, like, you guys' coaching is amazing. Every single workshop was lined up. Whoever was in charge of the lineup of what comes after, before or after, was perfect, because it allowed people that never touched the kettlebell and never did a flip to do that at the end with maybe they were more comfortable, that fear was gone. But then again, you saw that many people do something they never done. You're like, and so they try it. They're more try, So so much those stuff. Like for me, I learned so much. And I going back to, I redid my routine again when I got back, and I'm like, oh, that's what they were talking about. That would have been better,
Literally, it's awesome, because that, even like that experience of having a bunch of people who had never flipped a kettlebell learn from Bill and Steph, and like learn how to flip a bell and learn how to do just some of the basic flips, and learning some of those names, like seeing people do that, you're like, oh wait, that looks super hard, but like if that person is making it look easy, then maybe I can give it a try. Or look, this person has literally been juggling for 30 minutes and they learned how to do these 4 flips. And it's like, oh wow, like look, this person started today, and we recorded a whole video of over like 15 people doing a whole flow together. Like stuff like that is awesome. Like it's not stuff that you see around, you know?
Oh no, yeah. Yeah. That area of us doing the flow was just that was awesome.
Fire. It
I
was so
did
fun.
like 4 times on my phone because everybody posted and then I saved it. Posted and I saved it again on my phone. Uh, so like right now, are you still dealing with shoulder issues or is that like getting better?
Yeah, so it's getting better. So Steph has been my coach since I started. So she works around how it feels in terms of like whatever homework I'm doing and in terms of us practicing any type of elements. What's strange is so like I retweaked like my rotator cuff. It's like an old volleyball injury that I have. And for the most part, the most uncomfortable move that I do is a static because it's like a straight up head toss. But surprisingly, doing things like mills are pretty comfortable. It's just any like behind the back or like quick type of movements where it feels very uncomfortable. So right now, I'm still doing like that recovery process, but I'm still able to add the juggling element. That's very hard, like having an injury and wanting to like practice as much as you see all your friends doing it and wanting to learn new things. But I've also had to learn to accept that it at this moment right now, it's not only about me like learning new things, but it's like cleaning up what I already know so that things like retweaking my shoulder doesn't happen because I'm in a lot more control of like the bell and stuff like that. So right now, definitely still doing like recovery, but still getting like my reps in. I had to like shorten my training time. So I only probably do like maybe like 30 minutes at a time just because my arm gets tired very quickly. So still working on like improving that. But right now we have like a pretty good structure of like rest and practice time for that recovery for the end of October because London is definitely a go.
Yeah, yeah. So, what is your training split right now? Are you throwing every day or?
No. So for the month of May has just been a little different for me because I decided to do like it's called push one for 31 where we're just doing like a mile run a day for the whole 31 days. I don't like to run, so I'm like that'll be a good I don't like to run long distances. I'm a quick point A to point B kind of person, so that for
Me
me
too. Bedroom, kitchen.
that's it. That's
That's it.
good.
Yeah.
So right now I do a mile every day just for the month of May, but juggling wise I'll juggle probably like 2 days in a row. I'll rest a day, probably juggle another day, then take another day rest, and then depending on how my shoulder feels by that day I either juggle again or take another rest day. Okay. So my split really depends on how tired my shoulder feels, but I've started switching it a little bit around where let's say for example Monday I'll juggle with like an 8 kg because now I'm for world games I want to compete in pro as opposed to amateur, so going from the 6 kg bell to the 8 kg. So for example like Monday I'll practice with the 8 kg bell. Tuesday I may practice with an 8 kg bell. Wednesday I'll take it off. Then like Thursday I'll practice with a 6 kg and do a little bit more freestyling kind of thing. Friday, if I'm feeling good, I'll practice more the elements, just trying to get them nice and clean, catching my like release and catch points and like being mindful of those kinds of things. And then like Saturday I'll take it off, and then Sunday just depends on how I'm feeling. So that's kind of how like my break is split is right now. I can't do like my typical like upper body days and lower body like workouts and stuff like that just because of the discomfort. So I'll add legs in there at different places, but because of the injury that I have, juggling is my upper body lately.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the same thing with me. I'm like doing like tiny little sessions of juggling within my strength days.
Oh, nice.
Because it just, I don't have time to do like, I'm going to go do a strength session and then later on I'm going to juggle.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. If that happens, it's like once a month or so. Yeah. So to be more consistent and to not go crazy that I'm not touching the kettlebell or really just lifting, it's like I incorporate a little bit of juggling in my training sessions.
Yeah.
Just
That's
like,
smart.
yeah, because that works. And on top of that, I don't get ahead of myself on certain things and like, oh man, now like I overdid it. Now my shoulder doesn't feel good. Now that
Yeah.
I longer to recover. So that has worked for me.
That's cool.
Even though I was talking to Justin too, and he said that he does like 3 hour juggling sessions.
I wish.
Right? I was like, what kind of shoulders did you have?
Right?
Yeah, can I order a set? Like, does Amazon have
Does
it?
Amazon have it today?
And I'm like, and I get that. I mean, he's been doing this for like 5 years,
Yeah.
and he's got the strength and the endurance of pushing that 16,
Mm-hmm.
and like he does it on a regular basis. So his body has accustomed to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like over here, I'm like, well, can I do it? And going back to what you said of like, if that person is doing it, I can do it too, but there's going to be a process of getting to it.
Yep.
And right now, I'm kind of the same boat as you are, where like I have to be very strategic with training, recovery, and just everything else that goes with it to make sure that like, okay, I didn't overdo it. I can come back tomorrow and do what's next.
Yeah.
Instead of like, well, now I have to wait more days or be in a lot more discomfort, but it's time to throw the kettlebell. And you know what I'm saying? It's weird, annoying cycle sometimes because patience is not my strong suit.
Yeah, mine either, especially when it comes to like fun stuff. I'm like, I want to do it all the time. And it's like, you can't. So that's when I noticed like I started like retweaking. My shoulder was trying to force myself to practice because I'm like, NAKJO's coming, NAKJO's coming. But I'm like, if I keep forcing it now, NAKJO's like not even going to be an option. Like I'm going to be, I'm not going to be able to compete, you know? So what I've learned with that is I had to like lower my expectation, right? Like my expectation on a good shoulder is to train like 30 minutes a day. Like that would be like the goal. Just at least 30 minutes, touch the bell every day, do a couple elements, like that's fine. But I had to bring that expectation down in order for like the healing process to actually get to the point where I could hopefully one day have shoulders like Justin. And I had to bring that down to like, okay, some weeks I may only be able to train twice, but the goal is at least maybe 3 times a week I touch a kettlebell and juggle, you know, and that made it a lot easier for me to feel okay with not putting in the practice that I want to put in because I'm improving something else with this, my health and my injury, you know?
Right. Yeah. So you're 3 hours away from Colin.
Yes. Yep.
So do you have anybody else closer than that or around you that juggles?
So Colin, yes, Colin's 3 hours.
Isn't Justin in
Justin's in that same kind of like area.
Right, yeah.
So he's as well. Then there's Karina, she's in Boston.
Okay.
And then what's my guy's name? There's what's my guy's name in Connecticut?
Deshaun?
No, Deshaun's also in New York, but he's only about 2.5 hours away as opposed to 3. He's a little closer because he's in upstate.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember his name, but when it comes to mine, I'll bring it up.
So you don't have nobody right there, like.
So the only person I have in Rhode Island, I had to, like how they say, kind of help creative myself is Rosie. So I got him to kind of come to Belfast with me, and he learned about like kettlebell juggling. He went to that event with me in October of last year, right after the World Games. And I started kind of like teaching him a little bit of like kettlebell flow. And he met a lot of the people who were at NAKJO. And he's like, I want to give this a try. So now that is the only person I have in Rhode Island who I can kind of juggle with, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Because I've seen some posts of you guys together training and working out, and I'm like, they have to either live close or something.
Okay. Yeah. That's my boy. He's definitely from Rhode Island's like this big. So from like where we live to each other is probably only like 20 minutes.
Oh,
so
wow.
We're not far from each other at all. So he's the closest person to me. Karina's probably like 45 minutes to an hour. And then the gentleman that, oh my gosh, I'm so mad I cannot remember his name. That's in Connecticut. I think he's like about an hour and a half away.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah, I'm on the again kind of similar. I'm sure a lot of us are in the same similar position because we discovered juggling, and we're the only ones doing it. And to to get more people to do this, but you have to put in the time to like reach out to more people, or like me, that my clients like they see me do it, and they say it's cool and it's also dangerous. Don't hit your head, and, and I'm like, I haven't. I promise you, right? So the closest one that I have is Natisha and NAKJO.
Okay.
Yes. So she came here. She's about 2 hours. And she came to my studio and we did an episode and we threw the bell a little bit too.
Yeah, I saw that. That was so awesome.
Yeah. And
I didn't know you guys were that close. I was like, oh wow, they went out to see each other.
Yeah. I emailed her the night before and I'm like, hey, here's the email so we can do a Zoom and everything. She's like, oh, I'm coming. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, let me go clean up the place because this is a mess right now. But yeah, no, it's awesome that you have somebody there that that's gotten into it. Are you like trying to get more people? Like, do you want more? Like, you want to grow and
yeah,
involved?
Yeah, definitely. Say that again. Sorry.
What are you doing about it? Like, are you like doing anything specific that to reach out people?
Yeah, so I definitely would love for more people to join and like be a part of juggling. In terms of like exposure, I kind of just like juggle in my gym, and when people ask, like that's some of the exposure that I give. In terms of like exposing more people to it, I teach like a kettlebell flow class. I haven't done a kettlebell juggling class just because to be honest, in Rhode Island, everyone who ever sees me juggle, they're like, you're crazy. So anytime we talk about juggling, they're like, I would never. And anytime I say, hey, come check it out, they're like, hell no. So right now, everyone's like, we just like to watch it. And I'm waiting kind of a little bit more of that opportunity to pull in more people. So far, Rosie's been the only person who I could kind of like pull in and like actually enjoys it. And we even learned from each other, and then we have our friend David, who he's not really like a juggler, but he knows like some of the basic moves and like likes that kind of stuff. So for the most part, I'm trying to like teach more classes. But as of now, they're not like up and running like as efficiently as other classes that I have run right now. But that's kind of what I'm trying to do with that. But I'm hoping with like, posting and like doing it at the park and doing it in all these different like public places, we can get more eyes and more interest. And then that'll give me the opportunity to be like, hey, you've never tried this. Come on in,
Yeah. No, yeah.
Oh, his name is John. That's
Wait, John
Connecticut. No. John Miller, he's in Michigan. Yeah. No, he's far.
We did our partner synchronized.
Oh yeah, no, he's awesome. He's awesome. No, his name is John C, I believe. His Instagram is Primal Flow. That's his. That's his. He's in Connecticut, so he's only about an hour and a half from me. So yeah, he's there. But
okay, well,
sorry.
but he wasn't
popped up.
Yeah, he wasn't a NAKJO, right?
He wasn't at NAKJO. I met him in Brooklyn.
Yes, yeah, because I've seen him do videos with Colin too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. He will commute from Connecticut to Brooklyn to like train with Colin. Like he's an awesome guy too, for sure.
Ain't he like super tall?
Yeah.
Well, everybody's super tall to me.
To you?
Yeah.
I'm only a few inches taller, so to me too.
How tall are you?
I'm only 5'8".
Yeah.
Technically 5'7" and 3/4, but we round up here.
Yeah, I can't round out because I'm 5'4" and a quarter, so I have to round down. Oh man. Yeah, everybody's a giant.
Yeah.
And like when you see again, like Colin is a tall dude, right? So seeing him in person, seeing even bigger.
I was starstruck.
Like I saw like his arms are the size of my head.
He is diesel.
He is, yeah. So, but yeah. Every time somebody gave me a hug, like I will disappear because everybody was so taller than me. like that. Yeah, but
Great times.
yeah, yeah. But
um,
so you also you're a personal trainer too.
mhm.
Do you do one-on-one in classes too, or
Yeah, so I do one-on-one personal training. I do group training. I teach classes, and I'm starting to take online personal training clients. So trying to
okay?
kind of do all of those as well. So that's what I do in terms of like fitness. And then before I got into fitness, I became a licensed mental health counselor. So I do that as well on top of the personal training and my juggling.
Okay. Wow. So you like somebody comes up to you and like you read him immediately. Like, oh, sorry, I can't be your coach today.
No, I try to keep my therapist hat during office hours.
Okay. Okay. All right. So you're really good at, splitting that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love to leave work at the door.
Yeah. There we go. That's good. That's good. That's good. So prepping for London. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
let me go back. When you only had how many months to prep for New York?
For New York, I had probably about like 3 months to prep.
And for NAKJO, how long did you prep?
Probably about the same.
Really?
Yeah, because World Games ended October, was in October.
Yeah.
And I did World Games, and then I went to that event, Belfast. It was
Yep.
the second time going, and that like rocked my body because you're basically working out for 2 days in a row. So I took basically the rest of October off. I started juggling again around like Thanksgiving, and then hurt myself in January. And then NAKJO was in April, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then NAKJO was in April. So I started rehab like January, and then starting like February, I started juggling again.
So when you were in NAKJO, were you in a lot of pain during like all the workshops and all the like, throwing the kettlebell and stuff like that?
Yeah, the workshops were tough. A lot of like for that example, that class with the ladder with like Eric and Deshawn, like I did a lot of that like body weight. Like I just pretended like I had a kettlebell in my hand just because I attempted like that first round when like the reps were low, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna make it like through this whole ladder. So I had to take that a lot easier because I knew like my arm was gonna get like real fatigued, and I wanted to preserve my arm for the event. So that did affect that a little bit. But when we got to the park, I did like my good warm-ups and stuff. So it was easier to do the park juggling and stuff just because there was no strict like movements. I was just kind of able to like freestyle and play around a little bit. So like that was tough. During the competition, it was more just like exhausted. So I did the amateur performance, the amateur juggling performance, and that was, it felt fine during that. It was a bunch of adrenaline pumping, so I didn't feel anything. And then sitting for a while until they did the freestyle, it started to feel a little off in the freestyle just because I'm doing like a bunch of like different moves and my arms cuffing through a bunch of different like planes of motion. So it started feeling just like a little bit more tired than usual. So I kind of just chilled, relaxed. But then when we did the open, that's when it kind of like my arms were like kind of done. I had warmed them up with like a heavier bell just because 8 kg has been heavy for my shoulder. Originally, I was supposed to compete with the pro with the 8 kg, but then we started practicing with the 8 kg in like November and then December, and then I got hurt January. So in January, so then Steph and I kind of came to the conclusion of, well, let's set 8 kg and do pro for London, or where we didn't know where it was going to be next, but we were like for the World Games as opposed to NAKJO, because I wasn't going to have enough time to get a minimum 12-point like element program in. So that was like a little tough, but we stuck with like 8 kg and like that was fine. When we did the open, I decided to try the 8 and see how that felt, and like I definitely had way more drops in that than I would have hoped, but either way, like the bell was heavy, like I knew that, but my arms were like definitely like super tired. And then the next day, we sat out of the duo. Rosie and I were supposed to do the duo, but because like my shoulder was kind of just like, this is a lot, we took ourselves out of that. And that gave my shoulder a little bit of chance to rest. And then when we did the marathon, it felt okay because we're doing really short movements here. I don't really need to like move my shoulder a lot. So that was okay. But like once we were done, like that next day, it was like my arm was like done. It was like, yeah, we're just relaxing. Like we're not doing anything after that. But it's getting better. Like it's not getting as fatigued or as painful as it was. So manifesting that it'll be fine by World Games and we'll be in there, hopefully doing some cool tricks like you. Because you came like out of nowhere doing some cool ass stuff, and I'm like, whoa, I need to learn how to do that many flips. Like, I just started touching the level of triples, and you're like, those look beautiful. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Well, thank you. I was surprised of how I felt. Everything from, like I mentioned, from the workshop, from the first workout, all the way to the lab to synchronize with John. Because again, there was no pain. And I was like, I stayed super light on everything that we were doing, from the workshops to when we got to the park. And I kept hearing Tomas say, no, where the light ones? Where the light ones? I don't want anything heavy. So I kept doing the same thing because it paid off. Yeah, it did. Because that, and also taking those breaks in between, trying this, trying that, it paid off. And it was so helpful. And also to have him say, slow down, dude. Take a breath. Yep. It's going to be okay. Kettlebell's not going nowhere. Yep. But coming up to NAKJO, did not know what was going to happen with my body because it was just doing a bunch of weird stuff. Knowing that I know it and frustrated that I couldn't train like I wanted to, because like everybody was going to be there. You know, I wanted to go to the workshops and learn, but competition is like, all right, you want to show up, right? It's like, that's why I came. Yeah. And so I did amateur with 12 kilos, but I trained with 8 and 10 for like the previous 2-3 months, because I was like, if I load my shoulder with all these elements and doing doubles and blah blah and this and that, like it's not gonna go well. So I think that was one smart thing that I've done in my life, right? Yeah, I don't listen to your body. Exactly. Yeah. So now after NAKJO, it's like, okay, let's kind of repeat the same pattern process. I know, because you still want to touch the heavy weights, because you still want to get stronger and this and that or whatever. But definitely listening to my body and really timing myself on what I'm doing. Instead of like, well, here's try number 100 when how come my shoulders hurt? You know? Yeah. And just having those voices in my head of all the different coaches and everybody like telling you like, oh, try this, do this, you know, which again, it was so helpful, because then oh, now you're unlocked this movement. Oh, now you can do this more efficient, maybe not easier, but you become more efficient at certain things. Yeah, no, definitely. And like even for example, like Sean's workshop, like that's something that like sticks in my head. I don't think you were able to take Sean's workshop. Were you there, or did you? Oh yeah, where he taught us the underhand rack catch. Yeah, I was there. Okay, yeah. So like that again, class. Remember, I'm little, you lose me, I'll just get lost. So, like that class is something that like I still hear the stuff that he says like in the class whenever I'm doing like that rack catch. And then like Tomas, since I met him at Brooklyn, he continues to show me a new behind the back move every single time that I meet him. So when we were at the park, he showed me another move and he's like, hey, make sure to breathe. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, duh, I need to do that. Okay, as soon as I take a breath, I make the catch, you know. And then being able to like get that feedback from people makes those moves so much easier. But then it also like, it just continues to resonate, because I go to do the moves and I'm like, oh yeah. Before, like when I tell you, Sean said, when you're doing that rack catch, kind of come bring the bell to you, my mind literally went
I'm like, do you understand? I'm like, anytime I wanted to do a rack catch, I'm like, and I'm under it. Yes.
Yeah,
Got
exactly.
it.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because you mentioned that there were so many people they had the same reaction you did. Counting myself, I was like, oh yeah, I'm directing the kettlebell, even though it's doing whatever. I have to bring it to me instead of like chasing it or getting under it. That ain't gonna happen. And there goes your teeth, right?
Yep.
So that for me was when he was telling us like, okay, if you're throwing it this way or that way, you have to make sure that you point the handle a certain direction to make sure that it does the rotation the way you want it to, so you can go into the next element or maybe into the next catch or whatever it is. So that slows you down. You have to slow down. You have to pause, even though I'm over here trying to be Speedy Gonzalez, trying to get 30 elements in 30 seconds, right?
30 elements in a single breath.
Exactly, right? Also, we're going to talk about your video that you just posted earlier, too, though. So that they're just pausing and like, okay, what am I doing next? Okay, is the kettlebell where it needs to be as a position right? And after again going through those repetitions so much, then you just know.
Yeah.
It just becomes so much, you become more efficient. You're not thinking about it because your body and your mind and everything knows what to do. So again, I feel the same way with Sean's workshop and Tomas too, but like breaking it down, and those cues were so helpful. And I think for me, definitely the slowing down part and really like pausing in every single thing and doing more statics.
Yeah.
I started to do way more statics too, and just repeating even simple things that are, simple, I guess, for me. And just to drill those nonstop and like, okay, need more air. All right, pause again. Do it again, or come back in 10 minutes because you're getting angry at yourself and the kettlebell. And that's not a good look.
Definitely. It's funny that you said that, because I remember when Steph created my program, I did the whole routine or the whole program, all 30 elements, I think without adding any statics in between besides what was written in the element. And at the end of it, I'm literally like, I'm like, oh my gosh. And Steph's like, hey, you can take like a second to breathe, right? And I'm like, huh? That's allowed. I'm like, this is only my second time competing, so I'm still learning. And she's like, yeah, you can put a static here. You have some time to breathe, put a static here. And then it was just like, oh, wow. Oh, like literally, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm allowed to breathe. This is awesome.
Well, that's when I did mine, I was, again, trying not to forget any of the elements and or the order, really, because you forget the order, points taken off and this and that. And because you go into your static and then you can do a few elements before you go into your next combo.
Yep.
In my mind, I'm like, I forgot completely. I was like, okay, what's next? And that, and this, and that. And, and then you see the pros go up, Sean, Beto, Jerry, and it's just like poetry.
Yep.
No, static, and let me get my cup of coffee and go into the next thing. I'm like, oh yeah, you can do that. I need to practice that more.
When I think of like statics and taking a breath, it's so funny because I think of Karina from Boston. And I think of her because she was the second person to perform right after me at my very first competition. And like, she was just like so graceful every time she did her static. Like she would stop, she'd do her static, and then she'd get right back into it. And every time I think of a static, I'm like, yeah, literally, like take a breath, like relax, enjoy it. And then the other person I think of is Zoe, where she'll be in a static and she's like, I did that, let's go. And I'm like, yeah, like this is a chance, breathe, reset, next move. So it's just crazy that it's like I talked about it with like Rosie. I'm like, we're doing moves, and when people are like, what's that called? I'm like, I don't know, but it looks really cool.
Or you try to write it down and you're like, I'm just gonna make this up.
Yeah.
Under the leg, and then is it okay? Oh, yeah, it happens to me all the time. Like I'll think of something and I'm like, that sounds really cool. And then I'll try to write it down and I'm like, that does not make any sense.
Yep.
And on top of that, I have like chicken scratch, right? So it doesn't make even less of
even
sense.
more sense.
Exactly. And then I go back and read it because I'm like in the middle of a session or whatever it is. And I'm like, okay, we gotta go back and do something else because that does not make any sense.
Back to the drawing board.
Exactly. And then seeing you guys do something, like behind it, whatever it is, and I'm like, can I do that right now? So I have to like now really like to ask myself like several times to not do it because I know my body will not be able to do it. So I'm like, it's not the time.
Yeah.
You're not there yet.
Yeah.
Because
and it's okay.
Exactly. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So again, there was so much learning in that weekend. Yeah. Like I wish it would have been longer.
Yeah, no, seriously. I'm like, we could do like a retreat. I'm like, I'm down. I'm down for that.
Yeah, because I mean there's so many people there too from En Routes. You have Phoenix Flow, Kenyatta's right there.
Oh yeah.
So
Jasmine's out there too.
Yeah, Patrick is
on. Oh yeah, Patrick too. There's like quite a few people who are out there.
Yeah. And then with the whole baseball team that they have in En Routes of 7 kids.
Yeah.
Just they'll set.
Yeah, just with them alone, we have a whole party.
Yeah. I did saw when I did a podcast with them the following weekend. They did a whole flow, the whole family. I don't know if you saw it.
Fire.
Yes.
Fire. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is so cool. I was showing people and they're like, oh, wow, they're in sync. I'm like, they're a whole family. I'm like, that's all their kids. And everyone's like, what? That's even cooler. And it's just, it was awesome to see that. Like, as a family, everyone to be able to like flow and vibe. And you can tell that no one was like, hey, you have to come and like juggle with us. Because it was like when they were done, everybody was like, oh,
yes.
Like everyone was with it. Everyone was hyped. Like that video was awesome.
Now, let's talk about your video. What happened?
So what happened was, so what I learned is one of the main things Steph and Bill were saying when we were in Arizona is get steel toe shoes. And I do not have steel toe shoes. I wear Vivo Barefoots, which is like a very minimal shoe that basically feels like I'm barefoot. And the gap
pretty
of a
flat,
handle,
right?
Yeah, pretty flat. And like there's this much space in a handle. And with the Vivos, my foot's only taking about this much space. Versus if I had like a regular shoe, my foot would actually like fit into the whole handle. So I was practicing this like combo that I created in my head because I felt like I was having juggler's block. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep like running through this same combo until it like looks smooth. And I went to kick it up. Like the video prior, I kicked it up, had it perfectly fine, like did a cool little like, I did it like off the floor, did like a tap flip between the legs. I was like, oh, wow, yeah, I'm going to do it again. And then the again didn't happen. I went to kick it up and the bell launched at the camera. It broke my tripod. But I immediately like looked around, packed all my stuff, got in the car and left.
What?
I was like, okay, I think that's God telling me time to go sit down.
I don't know if you saw my comments.
Not yet.
So that happened to me with a wolf flip.
Oh.
So, and this was like, I don't know when it was, how long ago, and it was a super light kettlebell. It might have been like a 6 or something. I don't know. And you get in a rhythm and things are going well or whatever, and then you get too excited. You're like, I'm gonna try a triple.
Whoa.
Whatever, right? And I think I was going just for a double wolf or whatever, and I did it a few times. Very good. Sometimes I end up like kind of reaching for it. And this time, I don't know if like caffeine kicked in or whatever it was, but like it was way too much, and literally it went like that way. It's like right to the phone, right? And I'm like, huh, we're done.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're done.
At that point, there's no let's try this again. It's like we're done. That literally happened to me. The wolf flip is like my arch nemesis, and I literally need to drive 3 hours to go see Colin so that the goat can teach me how to do his move, because right before same situation, same setup as yours, right before Brooklyn, I was feeling myself in a flow. And for some reason, anytime I'm freestyling or flowing with the bell, all the moves that I don't know how to do are the first ones that come to my mind. And I was doing something and I'm like, fuck it, let's do the wolf flip. And I threw it and then I froze. I was like, I don't know where the bell's gonna go. And I just like covered my head and the bell hit me in the back of the head. And I'm just like rolling around in like the backyard on the ground, trying not to scream because I live near a bunch of like older Portuguese people, a bunch of grandmas and grandpas. I'm not trying to scream and have them like call the cops or something. So I'm just like laying on the ground, like, you were way too excited. We're done.
Oh man.
I'm like, if you're not like, what did Steph call it? If you're not like, if your knees, if your shins, they're not kissing the bell, if you're not breaking a nail, if you're not jamming a finger, are you really even juggling?
No, it's true. It's true. Like, and one of my clients who asked me to teach him after I came back from NAKJO was like, "Hey man, let's get this going." I'm like, "All right, let's get this going." Somebody finally, right? And like he keeps punching the kettlebell. And it's like, he's like, "Have you ever done this?" I'm like, "Yeah, like every session."
Yep.
Like at first, that's just how it goes.
Yep.
You know, that's just how either you punch it, you're chasing the kettlebell, something, you know, or like your fingers kind of get all tangled up in the handle. Yep. Like, how did this happen? But I caught it.
Yeah. Right. One finger, but I got it.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oh man. But yeah, it's a journey.
For sure. It's an awesome journey, but it's like any other sport, you know, like every track runner, you're potentially going to get shin splints and issues with your calves, and every basketball player, probably something wrong with your ankles, or with volleyball, with your shoulders. Or if you play soccer, there's something wrong with like your feet. Every sport has some type of potential injury that can happen. And that's the same thing with kettlebells. The only difference that I would say kind of like with kettlebells is you have more control of the bell as opposed to like other sports, you know, like in track, once you go through the pain of shin splints, like your body gets better and you can handle those runs. With like juggling, once you jam a finger, you're like, yeah, I'm not doing that shit again. Once you hit your knee with a bell, you're like, okay, don't have them there the next time you do that. And that's what happens. And each time you get better and better. So it's definitely something that it's literally a continuous learning experience.
For sure.
Yeah.
So before we end this, any words of encouragement that you can give us, or anybody that wants to try kettlebell juggling, well, what would you give us? Just try one time. That's it. Just give it one shot. Yeah, no, that's exactly what I tell people. Yeah. Just give it one try, because it's one of those things where the excitement that you feel when you do a reverse flip catch, and you're just like, ha, I did that. Even when Steph and Bill showed like just letting the kettlebell go and tapping the handle, you're like, oh, I have control over weight suspended in the air. I have no hands on it and I'm still controlling that. And then you combine that with like a flow. Just give it a try one time. Like, I promise you give it a try at least one time. It's going to be like, okay, this is different. It may not be like, oh, I love this and I'm going to try it for forever, but just try it one time and there'll be something about it that you enjoy. I agree. Something. I agree. I completely agree. Yeah. Ashley, thank you so much. No, thanks for having. This is great. This is awesome. Love catching up with you. Thanks. I'm glad that the shoulders are getting better. You too. I thank you, and I'm gonna give you the same advice that I give myself every morning. Be patient.
Yes. Yes. Amen.
Yeah. Yes.
Patience is a virtue for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Look forward to seeing you in London.
Yeah, same.
Awesome. It's gonna be awesome. I'm super excited. And then, like I told everybody, if there's anything that I can do for you, for the community, let me know. If you're ever in North Carolina, Asheville, you have a house, come by. We throw some bells. But thank you so much.
No, of course. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure. Definitely love to catch up. I'll definitely catch you with North Carolina. I told you I've been to Durham before, so I have reasons to go out there. So we'll definitely connect at some point. Hopefully before London, but if not, for sure in London. I'm definitely looking forward to getting back with the gang for sure.
For sure. Awesome. Well, thank you, Ashley. You have a great day, and let's do this again.
Of course, for sure. Thank you for having me. For sure. Thank you.
See you.
See you.
That's a good chick. Before it's all over, I'ma make this chick. I'ma treat this chick more better. Cause if you ain't
Yeah! Let's go! You got that?